Today is June 2nd, 2022 at 9:21 a.m. So, just a quick idea, I don't know. Thought of only one small little theme, so I just wanted to put it out there and maybe it'll turn into something bigger. But the idea is, before I thought that the number of people in social sciences was way too much, I think. But I think that we probably do need more people in, more or about the same amount that we have right now, potentially, in the social sciences or humanities. But the big issue is that most people in the social sciences and humanities are doing the most generic and idiotic things that they could be doing with that field of study. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm pulling all this out of my my rear end here, but I think that let me just go to history. This was my thought. I mean, in the past, I think I was trying to research, like, what's the history of, like, soybeans in the Americas, I think. And I might be wrong here. And I don't think I could find much. And then maybe this has changed. Maybe there's more available history, but I feel like, I don't know. Most of the history nerds and history buffs, they all focus on, like, oh, what happened in World War I and World War II. It's like, and then everything else is kind of ignored. It's like, okay, I think we have a pretty good understanding of what happened in World War I and World War II. Okay, it's like most of the mental energy that people in history have is going towards. It's going towards, like, just these generic, I don't know, like generic mental masturbation that is only serving the purpose of making them satiating their curiosity and their I don't know, and their need to know things that are interesting. It's like, oh yeah, World War II was an interesting time. I will only focus on World War II. Oh, they focus on, like, little snippets, and they get, like, they maybe research, like, oh, this is a fact from there, and this is a fact from there. It's like, oh, and this is how it happened, but they don't really know. From my understanding, they don't really care about, like, the larger context and, like, what it actually means. It's like, I feel like a better point of history is, like, you should know, like, okay, what's kind of the general idea of what happened in the last, like, let's say 200 years, and why are we at the place where we're at right now, and what caused everything that happened here, and what's the future going to look like. I don't really see historians do that, or at least the history nerds that I see out there now. They all care about, like, oh, well, what's an alternate history? You know how the weapon types that they used, and this is this and this is that. It's like, I don't care about, like, the stupid little, like, how the aesthetics of World War II. You shouldn't care about the aesthetics of World War II. Like you should care about, what does World War II mean for now, mean for the current day? What does it mean for the future? You know? It's like, you shouldn't care about World War II. You should care about, what does World War II mean in the context of history itself, and what does history itself mean for our future. It shouldn't be just a fucking mental masturbation game. It should be a real, like, maybe I'm too bold for saying this. It should be a scientific endeavor to pragmatically figure out truths that we can use right now in the current year, in for the future. It shouldn't be something that you just do for fun. I don't think, like, everything that you do should have like some sort of purpose behind it. If it's just, I don't know. Maybe this is too far, but I feel like everything you do should have some reason behind it. Like, let's say for example, I like surfing. It's like surfing has a purpose. Like I'm keeping myself in shape. I am, I'm encountering like fear, and I'm facing fear and risk head on, and that helps me in my life, right? I guess I don't know. Making videos that has a purpose for me. It's like, well, I don't know. I'm sharing ideas. I'm also facing fear. And there's reasons behind this. I think video games don't really have much purpose either. But I don't know. It's like maybe that's the same purpose you would get from reading a fictional book, or maybe it's a simulation of combat, and it's teaching you about like combat sims. And I guess there could be value in that potentially. But I don't think there's value in some BS like League of Legends or like something that has literally no connection to the real world. And I mean, maybe the value is just the fact that it's like, oh, it's just I don't know, it's relaxing, I guess, or something. I don't know, but that's not really. I don't know, or maybe it's nostalgic. I don't know, but I feel like if you're doing something, it should be generative of some sort. There should be multiple benefits. And history, people who are studying history should be doing something important rather than just, oh, I'm having fun, or oh, da da da. Or and here's my second point. This is the end of tape 1. Flip over for tape 2. This is the second point right now of the argument of the history majors. Gustav's crusade against the history major. History majors should. Oh yeah. You know what I don't think there's been a history of. Well, I don't think I've ever seen anyone make a history of meme pages from 2014 to 2017, because that's essentially what spawned modern meme culture. It didn't just come out of a void from nowhere. I would say that, well, number one, it kind of began in the 2010s on like anyway, it's just complicated, but I'd say that memes as we know them today basically like achieved actualization between 2014 and 2017, and I haven't seen anyone make any video or like make any history on that. It's not even popularized history. It's like, well, I'd say that's important, you know? Like a lot of meme pages on Instagram ended up doing this stuff. They were like legendary figures that rose up that really changed the game, and then they're all pretty much gone nowadays. And they're replaced by some other idiots, like some idiotic multi-million meme page multi-million follower meme pages that have no real creativity behind them. What's the point? Excuse me. What's the point? The point is, like, the thousands, the tens of thousands, or the millions of history buffs out there, instead of researching, like, actually new and uncharted historical territory, you know, if you care so much about like the esoteric and interesting and I want to find the new fact or whatever, you know, it's all novelty or a game, then why don't you look for something that no one's ever really charted into and like document that? That's the purpose of history. Purpose of history is both I guess pattern recognition on a massive scale, but it's also finding things and documenting them, finding truths out there, or finding historical instances that haven't been documented and documenting them. Like, I think historians in the past were much, much better than historians today. So, like, I don't know. I don't think people have really documented the last 30 years, I don't know, in a way that's really, and maybe you can't. I've heard that you can't really document the last 50 years well because it's too political, but maybe that's just a symptom of, quote, our democracy, TM, quote. But I do think that maybe the direction that YouTubers are going are solid. Like, you guys have probably watched Justin Wang on YouTube. Like, I think that his kind of take on history is interesting. The way that he like looks at like these niche, like kind of unknown historical things on the internet, like I don't know, he goes into all these different stories on the internet and he documents them in a very, very clear, concise, and well put together narrative way. And I'd say that he's like a modern day historian that people should kind of like look at and say, you know, this is a good way of doing it. Like, he finds things that people don't know about, he documents them, and there's something that can be found there. And I would say a iteration that would probably that historians should apply to the Justin Wang model is taking all of these different, like, concise and good stories and putting them into a larger narrative context. Excuse me. Because, like, if we just look at all these stories in isolation, then we probably aren't going to get, like, the fullness of the truth that they have. Like, I don't know. When you've read your history books, it's a collection of, like, stories of great people, but it documents the trends, and I'd say that that's something that we also need. So, what's the point here? What's the point? I think I've made my point, but I'm going to continue rambling because that's just how I do. That's just how I do. Yeah. That's just how I do. June 2nd, 9:34 a.m. Wanted to say something. So I'm lying in bed right now. No, I'm lying in bed right now, and there's this blanket that I have. Actually, the material that they use for t-shirts, like the soft gray t-shirt material that they have also in, like, blankets and stuff. You should know what I'm talking about, but it's, like, really nice. I don't know. Maybe it's bad. Maybe there's, like, polyester in it or something, but whatever. It's, like, not fuzzy or anything. It's just, like, a nice t-shirt material. I have a blanket like that. But this blanket that I have, it's there's a major design flaw that I'm very upset about. So there are these buttons that hold this this blanket cover on. You know the blanket cover. You have, like, the actual, like, the flumpy part, and then you have the flumpy part, the big flumpy blanket, and then you have the little dainty cover that you put over that flump, and then now you have the full blanket thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I see you not. Gosh, first documented voice crack on Goosenov, on the Goosenov Show podcast. Anyway, you have the flumpy blanket, and then you have the cover on top of it, right? Now, the cover on top of it, there's a major design flaw. There's these buttons with these button holes, right? So there's buttons, and then there's the button holes. And the buttons are like these clear plastic things that are pretty big. I'd say around half an inch in diameter. And then you got the hold on. All right, you have these buttons that are half an inch in diameter, and then you have the button holes. The buttons go through, and the buttons, or the button holes, I think, they're They're in a material. They just took the soft T-shirt material and they said, you know, this is perfect for the buttonhole area. And then, excuse me. And then, and then they just put the holes in the blanket. And the issue is that the strength of the buttonholes in the blanket is really low. So if I pull the button like with marginal force, with no force at all, like 50% of the buttons on this entire blanket are going to pop out. So the cover for the blanket is doing a horrible job because they chose the wrong material for that little sleeve of like buttonholes, and like the inner blanket just like spills out like an overfilled burrito, and then that like gets it weird because you have like a really weird distribution of the blanket where like a lot of it is like weirdly distributed. So like your feet have no blanket inside. It's just a very thin part of like the cover, and then everything by your chest is like all lumpy, and like all like 90% of the blanket is like distributed over there. And this is all because they just chose the wrong material, because it just the buttons pop out. And I'm trying to describe this as intricately and as detailed as I can, but I hope you understand the significance and the urgency of these points. But at the end of the day, what they could have done is they could have, and this would have cost them a little more money, but it would have actually made the design work. They should have taken a stronger strip of material, and they should have. I feel like they should have just sewn this to the end of the T-shirt blanket cover, and then they should have put their little buttonholes inside of there. And then the buttons on the outside of the blanket would connect to that, and then they wouldn't like just slip out because it's a weak and soft material. And then I would be happy right now, and you wouldn't have to listen to this stupid rambling. And then I could enjoy this dang sleep and enjoy this dang blanket. Why does it have to be so fucking complicated? Why does everyone have to be so fucking stupid? I'm gonna fucking Elmo's World. Elmo's World. Elmo loves his car.